Live from San Diego, California, this is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eitzmo, and Mike Maciejewski. We're talking Chargers, Padres, and Aztec sports. It's time to let your voice be heard.
When you get hit in the face early, you're not feeling so good.
I'm expecting the crowd to be loud, but you make plays and the crowd won't be as loud as you want them to be.
We got each other's backs. Guys make plays.
The really good teams win on the road.
We stuck together and we played as a team, and that's the most important thing. But you know what? We just keep on rolling.
Allen's got it, first down.
A.J. Green is open. He bobbles it. He's got it.
Ingram pops the ball loose. Kyle Emmanuel flying in there like Superman.
They run the ball as well as anybody in this league.
Davey Johnson hurtled into the end zone.
Always believe in one another. Don't get down on each other. Always believe to the end that we're going to pull this thing out and make plays.
All right, there we go. It's 10 o'clock. It's Sunday. It's 9 o'clock. Getting ready for an early 10 o'clock game for the Chargers. This is game number 2 of the very, very precious 16 that we get a year. We are the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans, by the fans. I am Jason. I'm the only one in studio today. I will be taking you through the pregame show. At 9:15, we will have Justin come on talking about the Chargers offense versus the Bengals defense. We're going to be hooking up with Jake Hefner, good friend of the show, at 9:30. We're going to be talking about the Chargers defense versus the Bengals offense. And then at 9:45, of course, the very end of the show, we're going to be doing predictions. But, first things first, I guess we should talk about who the inactives are today. Jacoby Jones had the ankle. We knew that he was going to be inactive. We got DJ Fluker, ankle. We knew that he was going to be inactive. Torek Williams, of course, is going to be out for a while. Johnny Troutman's going to be out for a while. Jaleel Addae, another inactive. He's got the ankle issue. And throughout the week, we weren't sure if he was going to make it or not. But obviously, at the end, they realized he wasn't. Ryan Carruthers is a surprise to me, being an inactive, a healthy inactive, because everything we had heard during preseason was he was looking really good. He was looking real strong. He was ready to make that leap in his second season. And the first 2 weeks, he's been a healthy scratch, which has been, a little bit concerning for me because I was expecting, some big things from Ryan Carruthers. And then Donald Brown. Now, Donald Brown being an inactive, I get it because they are carrying 4 running backs. Everybody out there who is complaining, they should just release him. They should just release him. We got to kind of step back and think about that for a minute. Release him for what? So we can bring in another, number. We need to have a 4th running back on the roster because we all know that somebody is going to get hurt. Donald Brown's already been on the roster for week 1, so we got to pay him no matter what. So to release Donald Brown and then bring in another guy and still pay Donald Brown makes absolutely no sense. Just because he hasn't been worthy of being active so far on the game, for game day, doesn't mean that he's not valuable on the staff. And somebody will get hurt. Would you rather have Donald Brown come up and take that guy's place, or somebody right now who's not on any team? I know there's a lot of Donald Brown hate in in San Diego because he didn't have a very good season. But if you step back and look, Donald Brown, is there really somebody out there better than him that's not currently on a team? I don't think so. So, we'll look at him as an insurance policy. I realize that he is, being paid very, an overpaid insurance policy, but an insurance policy nonetheless. And just to release him just makes no sense. I do think that he will be, active because, it's a 16-game season, and, running backs get hurt. We know that from last year. We had almost no running backs left. So they got to keep Brown on the roster, and somebody's got to be the fourth running back. A few things that are interesting going into this game. Phillip Rivers is currently tied with Dan Fouts at 16th on the all-time touchdown lists with 254. So if he throws one more touchdown, he'll pass him. Phillip Rivers also ended the game last week with 20 straight completions, which is a franchise record. The NFL record is actually held by Donovan McNabb, surprise, surprise, with 24 over 2 games. So if Phillip Rivers starts this game off with 5 straight completions, he'll have that record, which will be kind of cool. Let's see here. He currently ranks 20th with 37,059 yards and 217 more yards. He'll move up to number 19. Mike Seifries is going to appear in his 181st game, which will tie Dan Fouts for 5th place. And then Eric Weddle, he's 2 interceptions away for getting into the Chargers' top 10 in interceptions. And Malcolm Floyd is 2 touchdowns away from being in the Chargers' top 10. So it'd be real nice if every single one of those records was hit today. That would be really cool. Once again, the audio that I played at the beginning, by the way, that is courtesy of Chargers.com. We got that from Chargers.com. Now, this week, the Chargers promoted Adrian Phillips from the practice squad. And that was basically because they weren't sure if Jaleel Addae was going to be healthy. Obviously, he wasn't. Now, I'm guessing and I'm hoping that Adrian Phillips is going to be playing, special teams and not out there at safety. He's a young guy. He was with the practice. I believe he was on the practice squad last season. But, what I saw from Adrian Phillips out there on the field, playing in defense didn't give me a whole lot of comfort. So I'm just hoping that, you need that depth. You need that safety. You need that safety depth. Hopefully he's up here to only be on to only be on special teams. He gets out there, and if we actually need him to make some plays out there, I'm just a little bit worried about that. Once again, I'm going to let you know that we are going to be talking Chargers offense at 9:15. We're going to kind of try and keep this, here at the San Diego Sports Junkies, we have a tendency to bounce around a lot, and I'm still going to be doing a lot of bouncing around. But we are going to try and keep a schedule because the show is only 1 hour long. We only have 1 hour to talk and to get everybody ready for the 10 o'clock game. So at 9:15, we are going to be talking Chargers O, 9:30 Chargers D, and then we're going to finish with predictions. During the prediction segment, if anybody's interested, you can call in at 619-866-4567. Get in, give your quick predictions of what you think the score is going to be, who you think the player of the game is going to be, and then we'll go over those on next Wednesday. Now, curious for those of you in the chat room, do you guys enjoy 10 o'clock Charger games? Because me personally, I have, I know everybody has kind of routines. I know Darren's in the chat room. He has a real strict routine, what he does on Football Sunday. I actually kind of like to, during the 10 o'clock game, put it on Red Zone and kind of just watch a bunch of different games, kind of get ready, kind of get that build up. And then 1 o'clock comes, and I am ready for the Charger game. By then I'm ready. I'm ready to sit down. I'm ready to focus on one game. And then, of course, when the Chargers win, it makes your whole day great, and then you enjoy the late game and stuff. When the Chargers play at 10 o'clock, it seems like it's almost too early. You're not quite ready for the game to start yet. You haven't really got settled in yet. You haven't really got into football mode yet. And the game is it's starting already, and I don't know, it just seems a little bit too early for me. And what's even worse from that is the fact that, of course there's no guarantees, and there's no guarantees that the Chargers are going to win. If the Chargers lose that 10 o'clock game, it just makes the rest of your Sunday, it just ruins it. For me, it does anyways, The 1 o'clock games come on, I'll still turn on the Red Zone, and I'm still going to watch, but I'm just not into it as much. And then, you have the post-game shows, and you have the NBC show before the NBC game, and you're not really interested in watching highlights of the Chargers and all the things that went wrong after they lose. So, these 10 o'clock games especially, in order to make my football watching, day enjoyable, they really got to come out and they got to really win this game. And the Bengals, we have an interesting history with the Bengals. We've taken care of them in the playoffs, but last year during the regular season, they made us look really bad. So you look at a guy like Andy Dalton, and he's one of those guys that is there's arguments on both sides of the fence whether or not he's a great elite quarterback or if he just a middle of the road guy. And sometimes he comes out and he makes us look really, really bad, and other times we make him look really, really bad. So it's going to be really interesting to see which Andy Dalton shows up, or better yet, which Chargers defense shows up against Andy Dalton. Now the funny thing is, talking about Andy Dalton, I wanted to play this, but I decided against it. It's going around on Twitter. I'm sure you can find it if you look for it. Josh was talking about it last Wednesday, but he couldn't find it because we wanted to play it on our Wednesday show. But you watch all of these pregame speeches by players, and you just watch how pumped up these players get. They all gather around. They get around the quarterback. Drew Brees is really good at it. I don't know where that was when he was in San Diego, but Drew Brees is really good at it. Usually it's a linebacker or just somebody just really, really getting the team pumped up and ready to go. And there's video going around of Andy Dalton giving his little pregame speech, trying to get everybody, ready for the game, and he's going, it just sounds so funny. And at the end, he goes, playmakers on 3, 1, 2, 3, and the rest of the team goes, playmakers, like they. I should have played it because it is really, really funny, and I don't know if they just caught the team at a bad time or maybe the audio's bad, but it really, really looks like the team is just not into it at all, which was just so funny because you see most of those times, the players are just really, really excited, and to watch them just kind of ho-hum going through it was pretty funny. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side. Justin is going to call in, and we're going to be talking about when the Chargers have the ball on offense and what they can expect against the Chargers defense. So I'm going to bring us out here with, of course, Josh's favorite song. For some reason, Josh came out and for some reason he was bad-mouthing the song a little bit weak, and last week's show, and I don't think everybody appreciated it. So we're going to go ahead and play this song here for you, Josh.
Project that is due. Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects. SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers, San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
All right, we are back, and it is time to talk about the Chargers offense versus the Bengals defense. We got Justin Smead, one of the sports junkies, of course, on the phone calling in to give us his take on this. How's it going, man?
What's up, dude? Happy Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday. Now, let me ask you, I was talking about during the first segment, what do you think about Charger games at 10 o'clock?
I hate them, only because my body hasn't really gotten into football mode. I do enjoy the 1 o'clock games only because you get to settle in with football. You know, you really get to settle in, get the morning games out of the way on the East Coast, do your routines, and enjoy your fantasy day. I love to enjoy the fantasy day because a lot of majority of your players are going to be in that morning slot, and then the afternoon games come. So, yeah, it really throws you off, man, when there's when the Chargers are at 10.
Now the funny thing is this is the first season I've been playing fantasy, so the last thing that I was thinking of for a 10 o'clock game was fantasy, because I'm only 1 week in and I haven't really gotten into it. I haven't been playing fantasy for 5, 6, 7 years like you have. So the fantasy part of it I haven't really gotten into. I have a feeling once we get towards the end of the year, maybe my team gets a win or two, so it makes me a little bit more excited. Maybe that might affect me a little bit too. But a little bit more off topic. Like when the Chargers have a Monday night game, do you enjoy that, or would you just rather they play at 1 o'clock every week?
Well, no, I enjoy occasional 1 o'clock Monday night game. Monday night football special. I don't enjoy when the Chargers are on the opening week Monday night and they're the very last game, so they're pretty much the last game of the week 1. I don't like that at all. But during the year, like this year, I really enjoyed the Steelers-Chargers matchup. We're at home. That should be a fun one. But yeah, I do enjoy the Monday nighters.
Yeah, I enjoy when I look on the schedule and I see that we're on Monday night, because it makes me feel like we're getting, represented in the NFL. But when it comes time, I just enjoy those 1 o'clock games. So,
yeah, me too.
Moving on, when the Chargers have the ball on offense against this Bengals defense, what are some of the things we should be looking for?
We should be looking for getting stout protection for Phillip Rivers, because that Cincinnati defense is nasty. You got a solid guy in Geno Atkins, and he just anchors a buttload of guys that they have, and they're filthy. They get after the quarterback. They stop the run well. You're going to see a lot of emotion in this game. These guys, watching the interviews for all week and leading up to this contest, they have that playoff game 2 years ago on their mind. They felt they should have went to the Super Bowl that season. They had enough talent. You can see the emotion when they talk about it. So this game means a lot to them, and not saying it doesn't mean a lot to the Chargers. It does, but these guys have a little more edge to them this week. It's their home opener. It's going to be a packed house. It's going to be loud for Phillip. There's nothing he's never experienced before. He's done it all, but a guy like Melvin Gordon has to be on his P's and Q's today. I don't think he's experienced emotion and electricity like this in college. He might have. I mean, I'm sure he's been in some packed houses, but he needs to know his assignments today and make sure that pass protection's vital. He needs to get in there and make all of his reads. I think if we can keep emotions in check, that side of the ball for Cincinnati, they bring some challenges to the Charger offense.
Yeah, they got Carlos Dunlap, of course, Geno Atkins, and Domata Peko, which is
Peko. Yep.
That's going to be a tough front line, especially with DJ Fluker out. We got Chris Hairston starting at guard.
Right.
I am a little bit worried that we might have a little bit of trouble early on running the ball. The Bengals brought in A.J. Hawk, who, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of different thoughts out there on whether or not he was, worthy. I believe he was picked in the first round by Green Bay, and whether or not he was worthy of that or not. And obviously they felt that he was not worth keeping. They let him go. So with AJ Hawk there at linebacker, I'm really worried about the Chargers getting their running game off, to a really, really strong start.
I'm not going to use worried, Jay. I know it can be concerning, especially with this front line. You got to get Melvin Gordon going. He's our bruiser now. He's got to take that role, and he's got to roll with it. He has to. He's the guy that's going to bust you up the middle, get 2 to 3 to 4 yards. He has to do that today. He has to be productive. That line has to come together somehow without Fluke. They need to get 2 to 3 to 4 yards a carry from Melvin Gordon, and use Danny Woodhead in that third down role where he's so key in this offense. They really need to do what they did last week in the second half. Keep their defense on the field and take that time of possession and roll with it. Phillip has to just orchestrate a good drives throughout the day. No turnovers, no pick sixes like last week. Do not dig yourself early hole on the road, because on the road you cannot always overcome those.
I agree. On the road is much more difficult to come back. Now,
Right.
the Bengals secondary, Adam Pac-Man Jones, he was in the news last week for hitting somebody with a helmet. Are you worried about him? I know he's one of those all or nothing type cornerbacks. He's willing to take a chance to make an interception and make a big play, but he can also be burned a little bit. What do you see on us going up against Adam Jones?
Yeah, that's a give and take, dude, because he makes a lot of risky plays to defend passes, but he also gets burnt. We've seen that many a times in his career, and he's a nasty player. You saw what he did last week. He doesn't care. He just got fined. He didn't even get suspended. It's a joke to me. I don't know how a guy can do something like that to a receiver and not get suspended. Phillip's got to pick his spots today. They have some decent corners. It's getting Stevie and Keenan into the flow of the game immediately. Look for Malcolm Floyd today to have an over-the-top catch somewhere down the road here throughout this game and make a big play to continue a drive. They underutilized him last week, I thought, with the attention so focused on Johnson and Allen. It's going to open up more plays for Malcolm, I believe, and watch Ladarius Green over the middle of the field, because he's going to open up too. He's just got to make the plays. He has the talent. He just needs to get more involved. So defense for Cincinnati, yes, it's that secondary is good. It's real good. So they need to pick their spots and not force turnovers. It's going to be a tough one today.
Yeah, they have some talent in the secondary. We talked about Adam Jones, Drake Kirkpatrick, Leon Hall, and Darqueze Dennard, who a lot of people wanted the Chargers to draft last year.
Yes,
I'm interested. You did bring up Ladarius Green, and while they have good linebackers there in Cincinnati, I think that Ladarius Green can really take advantage of those linebackers, and I'm just hoping that what we saw last game is kind of can help build confidence between Rivers and Ladarius Green, so he's willing to go to him a little bit more.
No, I agreed, and I think what you're going to see today, and just my opinion, I'm no expert, but two tight end sets take some of that pressure off of Chris Hairston. Not to say he can't handle it, but I think from the get-go you're going to use big packages, and out of that you're going to see some passing plays. You remember when Gates is in this offense, it's a 5-yard intermediate route, 6-yard intermediate route. Sit there, look for the ball. Rivers finds them. I think you're going to see a lot of that today. Sit on these curl routes, keep the drives going. Short little dinkers. That'll open up the passing game later in the game. And I don't want to hear anybody bitching about delayed handoffs today. If they work, they work. And if I see on Twitter one time, I'm going to shut my damn account down, because people hate the delayed handoff. But what did it do for you last week? We watched the tape. It brought the linebackers in. You can beat the coverage over the top. Rivers can put it in like a dime to any one of our receivers. Don't bitch about that. That's part of the game plan. And now if they're not productive, I get it. But they were productive with it last week. So let's keep the bitching to a minimum, and let's see what happens today. I really think Ladarius will be involved today.
I agree, and a lot of those passes that we got up the middle, one of the things we complained about last season was all they did was throw to the sidelines. They never used the middle of the field. We didn't know. We didn't exactly understand the exact reason why, but I'm going to tell you what, all those delayed handoffs opened up the middle, and just about every gain we got was over the middle, and that was because of those delayed handoffs. So even if they're only going for 1 or 2 yards, remember there's other benefits for that. You had mentioned
it is, and
go ahead.
It keeps the clock going too. People, if you're sustaining a drive, it might not look pretty, but you're keeping that clock moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly, and that's another thing. Is time of possession has been so big for the Bolts the last few years. When they're successful, they really possess the ball and they wear down those teams. Last week, all that time possession we had in the first half, we went into the locker room, we were losing by a lot, but we're like, we actually are playing pretty. We're moving the ball, we're controlling the ball, we're just making stupid mistakes.
untimely mistakes. Yeah.
You had mentioned your boy Chris Hairston getting the start today. Let's remember that the mayor, SoCal Trav, is the one who way back when was saying that the Chargers should sign Chris Hairston. So
I remember.
This is the chance now for him to really look like a genius. If Chris Hairston comes out and has himself a game, we can all point back to, man, he was talking about him way before the Chargers signed him. So, so I'm
good prediction there.
I'm really excited about that. Now, what about Phillip Rivers? If he can start this game with 5 completions in a row, he's going to have the NFL record for most completions in a row. That's kind of cool, huh?
Very cool, and he has a chance to break Dan Fouts' record today with touchdowns, and he's in the booth calling the game. What a special day Phillip could have. If he can just if they could just keep him upright, and I think they can, give him a few seconds to throw that football. He's as accurate as anybody in the game. I really believe there's a couple records that can be taken down today, and what a special moment that would be for him. Although it's on the road, not at home, it still doesn't matter. It's, especially doing it in front of Dan Fouts. I'm sure Dan is honored, that Phillip is a Charger, and I'm sure that he respects the hell out of him. And I've hearing people, I'm not going to get too far into it, but compare the two eras of football, and it's night and day. You can't compare the two.
Right.
Fouts threw a lot more picks. That's just the way it was back then. They were a happy-go-lucky pass offense. So, but what a special day this could be for Phillip.
Moving back to the tight ends, you had talked about a lot of little 5-yard outs and a lot of little 6-yard button hooks, just moving the ball. What do you think about John Phillips? We know he's going to be in there because they're going to do some 2 tight end sets. They're going to want that extra protection. What do you think about them taking advantage of maybe his pass catching abilities? We haven't seen so much of that the last few years. I know he had a knee injury. What do you think about maybe getting 4 or 5 catches out of John Phillips today?
I'm glad you brought that up because when John Phillips is on the field, usually you see a run play because you're getting a block from him because he is a good blocker as well. He can catch the ball. I see a couple catches from him today. I mean, I wouldn't start him on your fantasy team by any means, but I think you're going to see a couple plays out of John Phillips and be aware when he's on the field. If you see, I think he's 83. I think he's 83. If you see 83 on the field, watch the run play. I mean, watch that and watch the play action as well, because if they've got the run game going early on in this football game, this is going to create some matchup problems for the tight ends. That they're going to have the advantage, I believe. They're going to blanket Stevie, Keenan, and Malcolm. They're going to do their best to do that, and I think hoping the middle of the field is going to be wide open for both these tight ends today.
I agree, and I think that we're going to get some catches. He is 83, by the way. I do think we're going to get some catches. And especially, like you said, if the running game if they can get that running game off to a good start,
yes.
I think that's going to open a lot of things up. Well, we're coming to the end here. Of course, that means everybody's favorite or least favorite time, and that is prediction time. What do you say the final score is going to be, and who is your player of the game?
I think people are going to riot after I tell them the score. I don't think we win the game today, and I'm not trying to be a sourpuss here. I think it's going to be 32-30 Bengals, and I think we lose it on a Josh Lambo field goal to win it. And I hate to say that, but we're going into a place where this team really wants to kick our ass. And I don't know if we can raise our game, raise our level of play to match their intensity the entire game. That place is going to be crazy. That's what they need to do. And I don't doubt we can do it. I hope we do it. I hope they prove me wrong. But this just seems like a big task today, and I hate to say that. We can't win every game. This is one of my losses, and the way the Bengals just smoked the Raiders last week, they looked good in all phases, and I know it was the Raiders, but I don't see a win today. But like I said, prove me wrong, and let's get out of there 2-0. I really hope that's the case.
And who do you have for the player of the game for the Chargers anyways, even in a loss?
Well, in the loss, Danny Woodhead's going to be my boy. I'm going to go with him. Third downs are going to be huge today. Look for Phillip to move him around in the slot and get some scat back carries out of the backfield, and he'll probably have a touchdown or two. So I would start him in your flex today.
Well, let me tell you something. The chat room, I'm having a hard time keeping track of it. I'm doing everything in here today, but the whole screen is filled up with people saying, hang up on him, cut him off, cut his head off. Right. So that's funny. lots of go
I know.
Bolts.
Hey, you know what? I know we're on a time limit, but let me explain myself. I'm not gonna. You know me, Jason. I'm not gonna beat around the bush.
Oh,
it's a
I
tough
know.
matchup today, and I'm as diehard a Charger fan as anybody. I'm a realist. What I always say, prove it to me. This is our first test of this season with this team, this assembled team. So if they can win on the road, they'll prove me wrong for the rest of the season. I'll probably take them a lot more often this season. So go get that W.
All right, man. Thanks for your contributions. I look forward to talking to you about a Chargers victory and making fun of you a little bit next Wednesday, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, and prove us wrong, baby.
All right. We'll talk to you later, man.
Later, bro.
So that's Justin calling in, giving us a little bit of bad news, saying that he thinks that this might be a tough game for us. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back. We're going to bring on Jake Hefner. Jake Hefner is going to talk about what the Chargers defense needs to do for victory.
West Coast is back, better respect the name. It's the San Diego Chargers, feel the lightning bang. Kill the hype, we reign, SD running this game. This is 619 straight, born and raised. This ain't no fad or phase, this is Cali for life. We gon' rally tonight, so pump your fist till you get it right. And keep it real so all the day go can feel you buffing out. Sing the anthem so the whole world can hear you.
This is Josh and Mikey from the San Diego Sports Junkies. We are teaming up with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of San Diego County to make a difference in kids' lives.
In 2014, Big Brothers Big Sisters provided more than 1,700 children with supportive mentoring relationships that created a positive change in their lives.
This year, our goal is to make a difference by giving more than 1,800 children a big brother or a big sister.
You can do your part by going to SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com and purchasing one of our One Before I Die t-shirts, where we will donate 20% of every purchase to this great cause.
For more information on how you can become a big brother or big sister, visit stbigs.org and help the San Diego Sports Junkies make a difference in a child's life today.
All right, we are back, and I know you know what that music means. That music means we're in for a treat. Jake Hefner is going to be part of our Sunday show today. He's coming on to talk about what the Chargers need to do on defense to procure a victory here. Jake, what's up, man?
What's happening, buddy? It's the one-man show this morning?
One-man show. I had Justin call in last segment, so he's helping out a little bit on the phone, but with everybody's schedule and stuff, sometimes it's just tough for everybody to get in here. So I'm kind of running everything in here by myself, which we all know this will be the second best show we've ever done. So Jake, getting right into it, Chargers on defense. What do the Chargers defensively need to do to come out of Cincinnati with a victory today?
Well, you got a few positives, you got a few negatives today for the defense. Obviously, focus, number one, is going to be putting pressure on Andy Dalton. We know how Dalton's reputation has been as far as being a good Andy, bad Andy in terms of his performance from a week-to-week basis. The good news on that standpoint is you got Jerry Atauchu back in the lineup this afternoon, so you're going to have 4 healthy linebackers as opposed to the 3 that you ran last week versus Detroit. Unfortunately, is that Jaleel Addae, starting safety, is going to be out today, so that means that Jimmy Wilson, who didn't actually have a bad preseason when he performed in spot duty in terms of rotation. Those two were actually battling it out for the starting position all throughout the preseason. So it may not be that much of a drop-off, but still the physicality that Addae brings to that defensive secondary is definitely going to be missed. Obviously, he signed up Adrian Phillips from the practice squad, that it is a little bit more of a physical type safety that you want to get him in there in the rotation. also from, a focal standpoint, you saw what Tyler Eifert did to Oakland last week.
Yes.
And Chargers were exposed a little bit from Eric Ebron, Detroit's tight end, in week 1 as well. So you definitely don't want him to start tearing apart the middle of the field. And, of course, how can you forget about A.J. Green and being able to shut him down on the outside? So the Chargers have a lot of things to focus on, but, of course, first and foremost goes back to the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Jimmy Wilson and Jaleel Addae, I think, actually played pretty equal in preseason. They both have a completely different skill set, though, so it's going to be interesting. The things that Jimmy Wilson, they complement each other, bringing them 1 or 2 in, and we're not going to have both of them coming in and out. Adrian Phillips, of course, was signed from the practice squad, like you said. I didn't see a lot out of him, to be honest with you, in preseason that I liked. I'm hoping that he's going to just get time on special teams. Do you think he's going to get into the actual defensive rotation today?
Absolutely. In terms of, what Jimmy Wilson is going to bring, he's going to start opposite Eric Weddle. And, he's going to be heavy in the rotation today. I would assume both on starting defense and special teams. So you're going to need as much as you can out there, just in terms of overall protection and, and defensive scheme wise for, somebody who's been in the game long enough. It's not like Jimmy Wilson is a second-year guy out there. He's a veteran, albeit a 7th-round pick when he was first brought up from college. But, he had his most productive season in Miami before he came over to San Diego last year. And, for the fact that, he's been able to put in a good camp, put in a lot of reps with the starting unit, hopefully the transition should not be as difficult as if he hadn't got that much time in the preseason.
I'm sorry. I think I misspoke. What I was talking about was Adrian Phillips. Is he going to be getting any rotation in? Yeah.
Adrian will probably be brought in on spot duty. Obviously he's from, coming out of, a smaller type of school, but he brings that type of physicality. So I would think, on certain packages you're going to bring him in, just in terms of, overall coverage. I would assume that it would all be situational. Type of, defensive schemes in terms of, when the Chargers are planning on using him. I do believe that they will use him on special teams heavily as well, because you're going to need as much protection as possible. And, during the preseason, that's where Adrian actually got most of his snaps because he was pretty far down the depth chart. So he obviously needed to make this team when it came to the final 53 on special teams. So he's definitely going to be utilized probably at his highest, in those certain situations.
Now, we talked about the Bengals offense, their wide receivers, A.J. Green, of course. They have Mohamed Sanu, Brandon Tate. Those are 3 pretty deep, and Marvin Jones even is their 4th wide receiver. Those are 3 really, really good. That's a good receiving package. Do we foresee our secondary being able to have as much success this week? I mean, they faced some really good receivers last week and handled them. Do you see the same success this week?
It's definitely going to be a difficult task regardless. I mean, you think about what the Chargers did last week against Detroit and shutting down Megatron and possibly, the NFL or the preseason MVP in Golden Tate for the production that he put in. It's not an easy task to say, holding them to collectively 6 catches for around 63 yards. That is daunting. You have to think, though, that you're on the road, and it's always tougher to win on the road, especially in Cincinnati. Regardless what we want to think about the Cincinnati Bengals and Andy Dalton, they have a very, very good home record. And that A.J. Green is chomping at the bit to come off of his performance that he started off in the season because he didn't start out hot. And, in certain situations, it's all really going to depend on who's open and is Dalton going to see him. It's going to start up front with that defensive line and putting pressure on Andy. So it's going to be a challenging task to cover all these weapons that Andy has, irregardless of the situation or what the Chargers have done last week. It's kind of like, Bill Belichick says we can't put more emphasis on what's behind us. We're on to Cincinnati. That's basically how it is. So it's a clean slate at this point in terms of what we have to do in order to win this game.
Now, with Jeremy Atauchu coming back, like you said, of course, he's going to take some reps from Kyle Emanuel. Do you see, first of all, is Atauchu supposed to start? And what do you say percentage-wise between these two? Who's going to play a little bit more in this game?
Atelshu's already been taking reps with the starting defense, even in pregame right now. So I do see him getting the start this week. And it may actually be, better because we obviously saw what Kyle Emanuel could do in third down situations in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback. And you want to get, Jerry as many reps as possible, just in terms of, getting him started, getting him in game type shape because he was not able to play last week. And, he's healthy, and Kyle Emanuel was questionable to even come into this game just with the little bit of nagging injuries that he's been dealing with from his performance last week. But, it may actually serve them well to have Kyle Emanuel maybe in certain packages, and who knows, it may rotate and change, throughout the game in terms of what downs you're actually having between Kyle and Jerry out there, just in terms of overall protection and, pressure on the quarterback. Again, I think it's all really going to depend on the down situation. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think ultimately, having that fourth healthy linebacker out there is definitely going to help the Chargers pass rush in general overall.
Yeah, I think from just a pure fatigue standpoint, that's going to help out. Now, our front three, of course, we have a starting front three, but it's a constant rotation with the exception of Corey Leggett, who they try and keep in there as much as they can. Ryan Carruthers, a healthy scratch for the second week in a row. Is this something because he's not playing where they want him to be, or because Darius Philon has just come on so strong since we've drafted him?
That was actually something that I was thinking about early this morning. I was interested to see that if Carruthers was going to, be active for this game. And when you think about the people that the Chargers have in terms of, their rotation along the defensive line, and you're right, they use a lot of different hybrid type of formations. So you have Ricardo Matthews, you have Sean Lismore, you have Mitch Unrein, and now you have Darius Philon. So in a sense, you have five guys potentially rotating around that end and nose tackle positions. And, as well as the flashes that we saw from Ryan Carruthers last year, this may be more of a testament to how good Darius Philon has been putting on film, during the game and his performance. And I know everybody was kind of surprised, week one that you take out a guy who had, a great, season, unfortunately, when it was cut short, and you really wanted to see his progression in year two. And now you have a guy in a sixth-round rookie that's obviously come in and been on the active roster these last 2 weeks over him. And you really have to say, is this more of a testament to the play that Darius Philon has been playing as opposed to why, Ryan Carruthers may be out these 2 consecutive weeks? I'm not sure if it's just that they need position depth more elsewhere, because we obviously know what the safety situation is like for this week's matchup. But it's definitely an interesting thing to keep an eye on as we go down in the weeks ahead in terms of when Ryan Carruthers will actually be in the active starting lineup. So we can't really say at this point, just in terms because he is a healthy scratch, but it'll be interesting to see moving forward how his time on the roster is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that we're going to need Ryan Carruthers, this season. People always get injured, always get nicked up. And if he was playing as well as we heard, then this is a nice problem to have too many defensive linemen. Besides Leggett, I don't think we have a superstar there, but I think as a group, we have more talent there than we've had in a long time. I don't think there's a lot of drop-off when you bring in, the next guy into the rotation. So I think that's part of why we're going to be successful on the D line. Now, safety-wise, last week, Eric Weddle helped out a lot, I think, with shutting down Megatron, but I think we gave up a little bit of tight end, and their tight end actually came out and looked better than he had in a little while. Tyler Eifert is a really, really good tight end. What do you think the Chargers' plans are going to be? Are they going to put Weddle on him, or what do you think they're going to do to try and shut him down?
I think the advantage that the Chargers have just in terms of this matchup is that Tyler Eifert had a great game last week. So now you have to put focus on him, but you have to do it diligently into the fact that you're not going to expose anybody else in single-man coverage. You have to make sure that you have a game plan that is inept to really kind of keep everybody covered as well as you can. And you're right, the way that the Chargers were exposed up the middle, just in certain broken coverage situations to where Eric Ebron got in the end zone for a touchdown, they were exposed a little bit over the middle. And we're giving up just, a few of those pass plays that, you really didn't need to happen. And so they need to be disciplined in their coverage, be able to cover well over the middle, the way that the Chargers were able to shut down in one-on-one coverage, I would like to be encouraged that they could do that again. So, again, we're talking about A.J. Green, who's still one of the best wide receivers in this game right now. So Brandon Flowers and Jason Barrett are definitely going to have a definite test on their shoulders in terms of if it comes to man-to-man coverage, if the defense is confident enough in them to handle those type of situations, and you want to put more defensive backs and more protection across the middle so you don't get ripped apart as the Raiders were last week by Tyler Eifert, is definitely a situation that I could see.
Now, Donald Butler looked pretty good last week. Mixed reviews on Manti Te'o. I wasn't super impressed. You kind of brought me around a little bit, talking about he made a lot of good stops in the running game. Are we going to see the same thing out of Donald Butler? Keep improving, and are we going to see Manti Te'o maybe playing a little bit more, making a few more plays this week?
Both Butler and Te'o are going to be key in stopping kind of the two forgotten guys that are in Cincinnati's backfield, in Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard. Like I said earlier this week, Manti didn't make like the biggest plays. He wasn't making the highlight reel in terms of plays that you'd really remember. But if you go back and you look at certain situations, especially in short yardage in the running game, Te'o was definitely in there across the line making part of the tackle. So he definitely actually had saved the Chargers on certain third down and short situations and forcing Detroit to punt when it came to those type of short runs. So if you look at what the Chargers obviously have to focus on, beyond Andy Dalton, beyond A.J. Green and Tyler Eifert, you still can't forget what the Chargers let Amir Abdullah do last week at their own home field. So they are going to have to be disciplined as ever in terms of the middle of the field protection from the run, being able to get past those blockers, watch out for the screen passes, and being able to take away the run game as well. So this is definitely a full-fledged test all around from the defensive side of the ball in trying to shut down Cincinnati. It's not going to be like it has been, the last playoff game that we fought in Cincinnati or previous matchups before that. It's definitely a different team in terms of what this Cincinnati offense brings. And again, they're at home and they play tough at home, and you can't do anything about it. It's always difficult for a road team to win, especially this early on in the season when you have that type of atmosphere going on. So expect a different type of Cincinnati team that you're playing this week, and especially from Te'o and Butler's standpoint, they need to be bringing their A game to Cincinnati today.
All right, last question before I let you go. 3rd and 2 when the Bengals have the ball in an obviously running situation, and 3rd and 7 when the Bengals have the ball in an obvious pass situation. Both of those situations, the Bengals offensive line versus the Chargers front seven, who has the advantage in both of those situations?
I think you have to give it to the Chargers on the 3rd and 7 situations, because now you're going to bring the house. And, if you can put pressure on Andy Dalton, then that's going to wilt the rest of the offense. And because really, in essence, you only have one guy that you really have to worry about. You really don't think that, you may have the occasional screen pass that they'll run out to the outside on the 3rd and 7, but on a 3rd and short, the Bengals have a variety of different ways that they can go. They've got 2 running backs that could really pick up those short yardage situations, or Dalton could do a 3-step drop, quick slant pass over the middle to his tight end. So you have more to worry about, and I'd give Cincinnati the advantage in that particular type of scenario in 3rd and 2. But in 3rd and 7, you're going to be dropping back extra coverage. You're going to be able to bring 4 or 5 pass rushers at that particular point in time, and Dalton's going to have to basically force Dalton to possibly make a mistake. So 3rd and 7, I give it to the Chargers, but 3rd and short, I give it to Cincinnati, unfortunately.
Well, I think I actually have to agree with you on that as well. Once again, Jake, I appreciate you. I know Sunday is so busy for all of us, and it's such an important day. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out and helping us out and taking care of our fans and giving them that little knowledge from Jake that we all need. Now, you made a prediction. You say the Chargers are going to win 27-24 with Stevie Johnson being the player of the game. Do you want to stick with that prediction, or you want to adjust it?
No, I'll stick with that. I'll stick with that prediction. I think that everybody's going to be looking at Keenan Allen and what he did, last week in Detroit. I would like to say a certain other player that I won't name, But I'm going to go ahead and stay with Stevie Johnson here, just from, what you really got to see from Stevie, and, for the fact that he wasn't able to get in that end zone, he was really frustrated about that. And I think it's just been a renewed Stevie Johnson since he came to San Diego, and I think that he's actually going to be the guy that Philip's going to be locking into in the pass game today.
Oh, man, I sure hope you're right, because everything I've seen from Stevie Johnson I love. All right, Jake, we will be talking to you, of course, on Wednesday, discussing a Chargers victory and all the things that they did right. We look forward to it, and thanks again for joining us, man.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Thanks a lot. That was Jake Hefner giving us a little taste of what you get to hear from him every single Wednesday. It's great, so you guys should tune in on our Wednesday show. And in the future, we're going to keep trying to bring him on Sundays because I just love what he brings. I'm going to take one more quick break. We're going to come back for the very last segment. It's prediction time. It's time for you guys to tell us what you think is going to happen in the game. I'll be giving my prediction, and I'll have the phone line open if you want to call in and give it, or you can give it in the chat room.
Superchargers, there's nobody that goes harder. Blue and yellow thunderbolts, we ain't gonna wait much longer. Bringing home the Super Bowl ring to the city. That's our mission, my man, so they gotta give it to me, yeah. All around the league, everybody feels coming here. That's for good reason, we the bomb.com. So long, San Diego, we the home of the diehards. Everywhere you go, all you gonna
This is Josh and Mikey from the San Diego Sports Junkies. We are teaming up with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of San Diego County to make a difference in kids' lives.
In 2014, Big Brothers Big Sisters provided more than 1,700 children with supportive mentoring relationships that created a positive change in their lives.
This year, our goal is to make a difference by giving more than 1,800 children a big brother or a big sister.
You can do your part by going to SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com and purchasing one of our One Before I Die t-shirts, where we will donate 20% of every purchase to this great cause.
For more information on how you can become a big brother or big sister, visit stbigs.org and help the San Diego Sports Junkies make a difference in a child's life today.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
We are the champions. San Diego Superchargers. We are the champions.
We run the green, we SD, we at home. I gotta get off and get up in.
All right, we are back for the final segment. We are really getting close to the start of the Charger game at 10 o'clock. I thank everybody out there who's been joining us for the pregame show. Lots of fun. We have a lot of fun doing these pregame shows, and one of the cool things is it's an hour, and we got to just keep it moving. It just seems like it goes by so fast. It is prediction time. So once again, if you want to call in, if you're listening, you want to call and give a quick prediction, 619-866-4567, or you can throw them out there in the chat room. I'm going to try and keep track of all of them. I'll go through what we've done so far. Week 2 predictions, Jake Hefner, you just heard from him. He's got the Chargers winning 27-24, and he's got the player of the game being Stevie Johnson. Josh, who was not able to be here because he has to work. He has a job, had to work on Sunday, which, I think should be against everybody's religion. Josh had it 32-24, and we've got SoCal Trav on the phone. SoCal, what's up, man?
What's up, big guy?
Great to hear from you, man. That's 2 weeks in a row. We won last week when you called. You got to keep calling every single Sunday to keep this train rolling, man. You're looking forward to seeing Chris Harrison play, I assume.
Yes, and I think I agree with Jake. Stevie Johnson will be the player of the game, and I've got the both 27-23.
Oh, close. 27-23 with Stevie Johnson. I'm writing it down. And, you had the closest score, by the way, last week of all the predictions. So,
yes,
I'm sure you noticed that.
and make sure Josh knows that.
Yes. I will definitely make sure Josh knows that. Hey, by the way, you and I don't know how much you're following fantasy, but you and I are going up against each other in fantasy, so I'm hoping to get my first win this week.
Well, I got a crappy team, so whatever I've got on the table is what I got on the table.
Yeah. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the year, that crappy team will be a good team. You never know how players turn it around.
They could be the Raiders of 2014.
Yeah, starting bad, and we'll see what happens. All right, man.
Exactly.
Thanks for the call. We got you at 27-23. I look forward to hearing from you on Wednesday, and we'll find out how right you are. I hope you're right 2 weeks in a row, man.
So do I, man. Have fun and see you next week.
All right, and
go Bolts.
That's right. Go Bolts, baby. All right, that was SoCal Trev. SoCal's been with the show pretty much since the very beginning. Huge supporter, so we appreciate everything that he's done. So anyways, Josh had the Chargers winning 32-24 with Stevie Johnson also as the player of the game. So apparently he's copying Jake with the player of the game. Justin, he called in on the first segment. He's got the Chargers losing 30-32. Boo. I hope that he's wrong. Justin, of the San Diego Sports Junkies, Justin is the most, let's say, realistic when it comes to picking games. He's one of the few that will pick the Chargers to lose certain games. And I'm not, I understand that the Chargers aren't going to go 16-0. There's no way that's going to happen, and they're going to have to lose some games. I just have a real hard time when it's game time, seeing any way that the Chargers can lose. That's just, that's just a fan in me, unfortunately, and this is a fan show. We're not, we're not professional, we don't have a professional radio show. We're not, unbiased, we're Charger fans doing a show. So that's why it's hard for me to pick against them. Justin, it's not hard for him. He's more realistic. Like I said, I hope he's wrong, but he's got the Chargers losing 30-32, but he's got his player of the game being Danny Woodhead. Surprise, surprise, his doppelganger. I've got the Chargers winning 27-19. And I'll tell you what, I think that the game is going to be, we're going to get a late touchdown. I think we're going to get the ball with a small lead, and we're leading 20-19, and we're going to go down and we're going to score a late touchdown to kick the doors in. I like the way this offense moves. I like the way that our attitude is when we have a lead. Last week we had that lead. We came back, we got the lead, and we didn't all of a sudden, when a team makes this big giant comeback and all these things are going right, they finally get the lead, and then all of a sudden on offense they start doing, playing all conservative, and you're thinking, what happened? You guys were moving the ball so well, and all of a sudden you guys decided to go conservative, and I don't feel like we did that last week. I feel like we kept going, we scored that late touchdown, and they got that garbage touchdown to make it closer, but I really, really liked that, so I got the Chargers leading 27-19, and I have my player of the game being Donald Butler. I think Donald Butler's going to get lots of tackles today, but I also think that he's going to either cause or recover a fumble and maybe even get an interception. I'm expecting a big game out of Donald Butler. I got the Chargers 27-19. Of course, Travis called in. He's got the Chargers winning 27-23 with Stevie Johnson being his player of the game. Once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're going to cut the show off now so everybody has a chance to watch the little bit before the game and watch the Chargers. I look forward to hearing from you guys all on Wednesday. We can come in and we can discuss a big Chargers victory. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.